lucky they're married to each other because nobody else would have them. All right. Now, we have the editor, the editor and the assistant editor of a magazine called Answer Me, Jim and Debbie Goad. Here they are.
Let's go. Come on. Bring it on.
All right, Jim, hold on a minute. Hold it, guys. Quiet in the audience. Now, you are the editor, Jim Goad, and your wife, Debbie, is the assistant editor. Now, this is a filthy, raunchy magazine.
Thank you, Wally.
Thank you.
And you know, you say that the whole thing is called Answer Me. I have an answer for you. Get lost and get out of business. You know what? I read this magazine. And these people are the armpit of journalism. Now, you know...
That's right, Wally, and you're the anus of broadcast.
Oh! Watch your filthy mouth. Hey,
Just the truth.
you may be filthy in your magazine, but you won't be filthy on my program.
Are those wrinkles, Wally, or just a
you can leave
topographic map of Orange County on your face?
I beg your pardon?
Are those wrinkles on your face or just a topographic map of Orange County?
How would you like... Wait a minute. How would you like one big wrinkle across your big fat nose?
Come on! There you are.
Take the wig off.
You know what? On the editorial page, these idiots...
Thank you.
There's a picture of these two idiots, and guess what? In their picture, they are giving an obscene gesture to the people watching. Can you believe that? Oh, come on.
All of you. Every one of you.
And then you guys have the audacity in your first issue to use the F word, talking about the people... Hey, I have news for you. I have a lot of power in this town. This is your first issue, and I say it's going to be their last issue.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Now, let me get to Debbie. Debbie, can you tell me what in the world... Hold it. Quiet, please.
You shut your mouth.
Hey!
Come on.
I'm the only one who can say that. Quiet down. Let's hear it. Hold that in the audience. I'm going to have to clear the house. Hold it. I mean it now. We got to get this thing out. Now, let me ask Debbie, what are you trying to prove with this magazine? I mean, what is your goal? I mean, it's just a bunch of filthy words.
We say what people think but won't admit. We just present the truth.
You don't say what I think.
What
you think? I think, like the majority of people, good, clean, moral, decent things. You're talking about filth and trash.
Most people are scum.
What's that?
Most people are scum.
That's right.
She says most people are scum. No.
At least we know it.
No, you see what?
This magazine, Wally, is...
Thank God.
This magazine's designed to unleash the fear and sexual repression which lies in old brittle bodies like yours, Wally George. Come on, imbecile.
You know what I was really disgusted with is they have...
Don't want your money, punk.
They have a story in their magazine. They have a story in their magazine called "Babies Are Dirty and Disgusting."
Yes.
Now I understand.
At least we know it, punk.
Hey, I say babies are beautiful. Now, Debbie.
Yes, sir.
Now, Debbie, I want to say this. You wrote this.
I wrote it.
I'm not going to say it one more time. We're having chaos in the audience. Now, I'm not going to have it. Now, you either quiet down, I'm going to stop the tape, and I'm going to clear the whole damn audience out. Now, knock it off in the audience. I mean it. All right, now we're going to conduct an interview here, or forget it. I don't need an audience. Now, I mean it, guys. I've told you 3 times now. All right, now we're going to continue here. Now, you wrote this article that babies are dirty and disgusting?
That's right, I sure did.
Have you ever had a baby?
I've had abortions.
Oh!
Yeah! And I'd have 1 million abortions not to have that cancer growing inside of me.
Are you proud of the fact? Wait, how many abortions have you had?
I have had 2, and I've had 10 more. When I was pregnant, it felt like years ago there was a cancer growing inside of me. But I solved the problem. I had an abortion, and I'd have 10 more.
No, the problem...
Having the abortion was the best thing I ever did.
The big problem, Debbie, the big problem was when you were born in this world.
And Wallace.
Hey, listen.
I'd rather have a cat than a kid. Cats, not kids.
You know, are you proud of the fact? Are you proud of the fact that you have killed 2 babies? Are you proud of that fact?
I'm proud of the fact that at Christmas time we're hanging something very special on our Christmas tree to honor the fact that.
Oh, yeah. Sit. Yeah. That is. You know, you are probably the most disgusting woman I've ever met in my entire life.
Thank you.
And you too.
That's the nicest thing anyone ever said to me.
You know what? That is the most sickening disgust. Do you really
Quit
think that...
spitting on me.
Hey, I'll do more than spit in a minute, pal.
I can smell your breath from here. What kind of vegetables?
I don't want any more of your junk. I don't want any more of your stupid junk. I don't want any more junk.
Wait. You didn't think I was so crazy and stupid when you sent me this letter 3 years ago calling me a kind person.
You're senile, Wally.
You sent me a fan letter, huh?
This looks familiar? I did an interview with you 3 years ago.
You're losing your mind.
Crazy then.
You're senile.
Oh, boy. Well, now you are saying in your magazine, that let me get back to El Sicko here, Mr. Goad. You say in the magazine that abortion should not only be legal in America, it should be mandatory.
Mandatory.
Abortion, yes.
There's too many people.
That's right. The only way to stop social problems is to stop society, Wally. You've been on the freeway lately?
So are you saying...
Try to get a parking space,
Hold
Wally.
on. Are you...
You had to wait 2 hours in line to get on a ride at Magic Mountain. There's too many damn people, Wally.
Too many people. A new creature opens its eyes every 7 seconds. There's too many people. And they're all
Are you
stupid.
saying that
Just like
you want a law passed that any women who are pregnant in America, it's mandatory that they have an abortion?
Mandatory abortion, Wally. They'd have to file with the regulatory agency, which would monitor abortion clinics. They'd have to sign up. Everyone would have to go. You too. It would be like the DMV. And if a woman... go to hell.
Yes, go ahead.
Right. If a woman didn't report in the 2nd or 3rd trimester, she'd have to face death.
Oh, jeez, you are so... Hey, what is that stupid... What is that sign that you have
here's the best reason for abortion.
What is that?
Here we go.
What's that picture you got there?
It's a picture. It's the strongest argument for abortion that I've ever seen. It was taken about... Shut your mouth! It was taken about 100 years ago when photography was basically new. It's a picture of you as a baby, Wally George.
You won't be able to read that.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody, to Hot Seat. Can I have that on? Okay, very good. Now, you know what? I've had a lot of really degrading, sickening people on my show, but I think this couple's about the worst. What do you think? And Here's what I think of their stupid magazine. Here we go right here. Get out of here. They are so disgusting to say babies are disgusting, and she brags about aborting both of her babies, and she said she'd do it 10 more times. I tell you, taking one look at her, I'm glad she hasn't had a baby. But I say, people like her and her husband, instead of bragging about abortion, they should realize what they are doing is killing a live baby, right? All right. Now we have to, hold down over there, guys. We have some extra time because I kicked those idiots out of here before I was going to. So we brought some people from the Wally Stadium. Questioner, go ahead. Have your name and...
Oh, my name is Debbie. Wally, I just want to say you're a genius. How could those crazy people at the Late Show throw you off their stinking show?
Well, I'll tell you why. You know what happened? I went on there, and I told that stupid Ross, whatever his name is, how boring and dull he was. And I told Shannon Tweed what a nitwit bimbo she was. And the producers, in the break, the producer came to me and said, either you apologize or we're going to ask you to leave. And I said, bye-bye. Hey, Wally apologizes to nobody.
This is the plaintiff, Edward Austian. He contends that because of an altercation he had with the intoxicated defendant as they were leaving for a Pink Floyd concert, the defendant came over to his apartment the next day and kicked in the door of his classic 1964.5 Mustang, then attacked him. He's suing for $1,500 for car repairs, lost income, physical injury, and punitive damages.
That's coming up.
The Underground Magazine explosion. I'm Laurie Pike, and I'll be talking to the weirdos behind LA's most obscure magazines. Coming up later on Fox News.
Good night.
All right, good night, Mark and Bobby. Well, you won't find them on any supermarket checkout counters or in most bookstores or magazine racks. But underground magazines, also known as fanzines, are a big business. Laurie Pike reports.
This is how Rolling Stone and Interview magazines started, rough and radical with very few advertisers. Most of these magazines will never go glossy or national, but that's the way their editors want them.
One of the really appealing things about zine is that you sit down and it's like a friend made it for you. It's more intimate, and you read this and you're like, God, you know, you're part of a club all of a sudden, a really cool club.
Kent Fuhrer named his fanzines Carrie and Carrie Light after his favorite movie. In the beginning, he would steal office supplies from his former job to put the magazines together. Campiness is their calling card, with articles like A Looter's Diary and a chronicle of crazed fan letters to Facts of Life star Nancy McKeon. Obscure stuff, but there is an audience for it. There's been such a proliferation in underground fanzines that it seems like anybody with an attitude and access to a Xerox machine has their own manifesto. And this is where they sell it, Amok Books in Los Feliz.
We specialize in what the owners like to say, extremes of information in print. 8-track mine, which is all about 8 tracks. This one called The Last Prom, which concentrates on driver's education films, like Red Pavement and stuff like that. Psychotronic, which is a B-movie guide. My Comrade, which comes out of New York, which is basically, it's like the rantings and ravings of 5 or 6 drag queens.
And then there's Answer Me, whose latest issue profiles killers, pornographers, and Satanists, plus some thought-provoking essays.
Debbie rants about how she hates women, how she hates the family, how she hates men. I rant about how I hate the underground.
The Goads do the entire magazine themselves out of their Hollywood apartment and sell it in L.A., Seattle, Chicago, and Austin, Texas. But even if their readers love their mag, they don't love their readers.
If they buy this, they have bad taste, so we don't associate with them.
Laurie Pike, Fox News.
A happy ending to a story we told you about on Tuesday. Remember that pregnant dog spray
Pinch your tits.
We'll give you a couple bucks. Yeah, tits and ass a little. Give you 5. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Can you give her a buck?
Big little tit. We'll give you one. Oh yeah. Work it. Work
Pinch
that
it.
thing.
Pinch it. Woo! Pinch those nipples.
Oh yeah. Can we see a little, flash a little butt? Yeah. How much? Huh? Small package. 5, 6, 10 bucks?
For what?
Beautiful. You ever think of modeling or anything? Huh? Can't hear you. You can be a dancer? Well, you really got the body for it. You're really sexy. I'm married, but might
I'm sexy right now.
wanna like maybe sit up there and get the full eagle shot? Spread it?
You guys can drive with me, right?
No, we can.
Drive with me now.
Huh?
Drive with me right now. No, do it. I look really bad. The black guy showed me last night. Dragged me down. They dragged me down there. And, hey, point the mic.
You got a couple singles? You got a couple singles?
I thought you said show me your tits. You know, show me your tits.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me excited. I mean, now I want to see the whole package. You got a couple.
I don't have that much money on me. I don't have enough for dinner. I didn't bring any.
$3 for a full beaver shot?
Huh?
$3 for a full beaver shot? I want to see you sit up there and like spread them.
You still gonna use 10, right?
Huh?
You still gonna use 10?
Oh, that was fucking.
You know you give me?
That's for fucking you, yeah.
Give me some more time. I can go take a shower.
Got a better,
I want to get fresh to go in the hotel to
can you
shower.
flash your bush now?
You have to give me some more dollars. I need 5 to get a shower. I can get a half an hour to get in there and take a shower and stuff. I have homeless with. At least that.
We just want to see some things.
I'll do you. You know. Can you give me $1? 50 cents? This really, because I get $100 for somebody out here. It's impossible. These people don't have to know. It's really hard. Get me $1.
You don't get $1?
I gave you what I have. I don't have enough money for dinner. What wallet?
See, you have money.
I only can afford another $1. I mean, the rest is for vacation. That's fine. That's all I have. That is all I have.
Now, you guys are con down too.
Huh?
You guys are con. What are you gonna do with it?
Jerk off to it.
You guys are doing this. You make movies.
Yeah, they want to give you this. They said it's worth money. It's sold. For money,
Come back.
You stopped in the garage.
Well, see, I used it. Yeah, plus that, it makes it look a little bit.
They asked her if you can
shock her.
Let's get our money.
Can I mace you?
Huh?
Can I mace you?
What's that?
Spray this in your face with cayenne pepper?
No. Why?
Ask her if you can show more money for that.
Why does she want that?
Let's just see the push.
Why does she want to make it?
She's trying to see if people will.
Huh?
She's trying to see if people will.
Oh, I see the spread shot.
Can you make it up there?
Take a Playboy.
Oh, yeah.
Playboy. Woo! Huh? What?
Take a piss?
What?
Take a piss?
I just did that.
Too late.
Diarrhea?
No, I did.
Oh, over there. I thought you said you did some diarrhea.
No, I said I
Yeah, work that thing. Play with yourself a little bit.
Yeah, you guys probably lost the $5 today, you know?
$5? Get a room down here.
I can get a room, I can just take a shower now. I can get cleaned up.
Let's see that pussy from behind. Let's see some action. Come on, it's beautiful. You should be proud.
You get a t-shirt.
Be proud.
Look at this guy over here. That's the whole road.
He's having fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, look at that asshole. Oh. Oh. All right. Oh. Oh, you're beautiful. Thanks. What's your name? Christina? Yeah. Well, have a good day.
Take care.
Don't spend it all in one place. Okay.
Hey, there's some pigeon eating some roadkill. You want to take a look at it? Hey, you drive up back real slow. There's some pigeon. Yeah, that's fine. A little closer to the fire. Step back. We're going to have them squatting down, or are we going to have them standing up? Into the fire, into the fire. Man, they're going to get it up.
This is a blue filter on this light.
Well, actually, you can't take the water when it's frozen.
Oh, Christ.
You know?
Oh, God. They're being processed down here.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Time you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Answer Me magazine. How did this all come about?
Well, I guess I should cover that. I wrote for a bunch of other magazines like Playboy, LA Reader, Exposure, BAM, Music Connection, and they always took the good shit out. I don't know if they were just pussies or they were afraid of pissing off advertisers, but every time I would write something, they'd take the best shit out, so I just got sick of it. Decided to do my own thing.
What did you consider the best shit?
Just lines that I thought stood out from all the rest that were a lot better, but apparently they thought were too offensive or too self-indulgent or somehow weren't journalistic. But
what would you, do you have an example of that?
Playboy articles?
I mean, I reprinted the Vietnamese gang article in our second issue. And if you compare that to the May 91 Playboy, it's just like two different writers wrote the thing. They took out all flavor.
The funniest lines were always edited.
Yeah, because they got a bone up their ass about, I guess, what's supposed to be objective and what's not. But it's a lot better doing this. You make less money, but you can sleep at night. Plus, there's so much lame shit in the underground and mainstream that I guess we get disgusted if we just see too much of it. We're not doing anything.
What other local magazines are you competing with?
Well, we don't consciously compete with anyone until they start talking shit about us or give us a unnecessarily nasty review. But we will bury Ben is dead. Within 5 years, they won't be in existence, and we'll probably be as wealthy as Larry Flint. And it's kind of sad for them because they had the head start being rich kids and having financing. And we have to go to our shitty day jobs and can only put out maybe an issue a year because of other constraints. But they don't have a hundredth of the drive that I do. And it shows in the magazine. And they'll be revealed for the Shannon Doherty clones that they actually are.
So you really feel strongly about Ben is dead and where they're coming from?
They're not. They think they're cutting edge, but as Anton LaVey said, invariably their blade is a butter knife. They cover everything that's been covered before in a safe, light, campy way, and they've never seen hatred or anger like I have inside me, and that's basically the same thing as the drive to get revenge. Revenge is the only thing that gets me up in the morning. There's nothing better. When I did the Playboy article, $4,000 for it was nice. Being in Playboy was nice, but calling up jerk-offs I went to grade school with, telling them to go down to the 7-Eleven and shoot their wad all over my name was a lot nicer.
My legs are getting tired.
Would you guys like to stand up?
I would. I can't. My legs fall asleep.
You get lighting on this?
How long did it take you to put out the first magazine? Hold Frank.
You get the flames?
All right, go ahead, Frank. How long did it take you to put out the first issue of Instrument?
It took about 6 months to get it together.
It's just the two of us that do it.
76 pages, 2,700 copies. The second one came out about 8 months later. It was 100 pages, 8,500 copies, and this one was 13,000 copies, 132 pages. And I think basically what's up their ass is they realize something's coming out of LA that has teeth. Isn't this bullshit show-busy, criticizing showbiz while being show-busy at the same time type of acceptable, pabular, mainstream approach, and scares the living shit out of them.
What do you expect the next magazine to do?
The next one's going to get a lot of women pissed off, because we have articles like "Let's Hear It for Violence Toward Women." It's going to piss off a lot of countercultural types, because we have something called "Policemen Are Our Friends," a pro-cop article. Probably 60, 70 pages on rape. Back cover will probably be that old poster, "A woman is beaten every 15 seconds in this country," and the caption will be something like, well, "What's her name?" Or "Better tell her husband to stop," or something like that. So I can see women's groups getting picked off.
And Frank's going to say something.
What?
Turn that microphone on. Oh, it's been off?
We're still picking up right here.
Yeah, I know.
Did I put it on M1, M2, or V1?
V1. Well, it wasn't big enough?
I don't know. He handed me the mic. I'm a producer, man. I don't know this shit.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
This camera.
Did it take what Jimmy said?
Yeah, this camera got everything straight.
Yeah, that camera. Oh, all right. Yeah, can I go on? Yeah, being a chick and writing about not liking other women, men, the family, babies, the homeless. This is all unpopular, but at least maybe it's making some people out there think, you know, and their minds are finally like stirring that, oh, I never thought of it that way. And plus, I like to get the stuff out of my system, you know. It's either that or just random violence, getting up on the rooftop and shooting at people, because I do feel that much hatred towards humanity. That is real. That's not a pose.
Give us a description of what your average reader would be.
No idea. We don't target it towards anybody. We do precisely what we're interested in. And maybe that's why it seems to have hit a nerve, because so many of the things out there seem targeted towards something or sculpted towards appealing to a certain segment. We just don't do that. If it doesn't interest it, we won't do it, and vice versa. So we don't. I think it's dangerous to concern yourself with what the readers like or what they want to see.
Have you corresponded with any of your fans?
Sure, we pretty much answer all the mail, and unless they're taunting us in some way, we're really decent and easy to get along with. But when they want to start shit, we're ready, willing, and able to finish it. Put up with too much shit in our lives to have to deal with some asshole giving us a hard time. I don't know how other people put up with it.
We get like 15, 20 letters a day, and out of all the people that read the mag, I would say there's maybe a handful of people who really do come across as true psychos and are really sincere and good people. And it always turns out that the people who are the ones that society thinks are the weirdest, the sickest, turn out to be the nicest people. And the ones that walk around like they're so moral and righteous are the ones that are really the ones you have to, behind your back, they'll just stab you. They're the ones that are the true enemy.
Do you have a example with that?
Somebody who's a psycho?
Well
just one thing I wanted to add to the last thing is that
about not liking other women, men, the family, babies, the homeless. This is all unpopular, but at least maybe it's making some people out there think, you know, and their minds are finally like stirring that, oh, I never thought of it that way. And plus, I like to get the stuff out of my system, you know. It's either that or just random violence, getting up on the rooftop and shooting at people, because I do feel that much hatred towards humanity. That is real. That's not a pose.
Give us a description of what your average reader would be.
No idea. We don't target it towards anybody. We do precisely what we're interested in. And maybe that's why it seems to have hit a nerve, because so many of the things out there seem targeted towards something or sculpted towards appealing to a certain segment, and we just don't do that. If it doesn't interest it, we won't do it, and vice versa. So we don't. Yeah, I think it's dangerous to concern yourself with what the readers like or what they want to see.
Have you corresponded with any of your fans?
Sure, we pretty much answer all the mail, and unless they're taunting us in some way, we're really decent and easy to get along with. But when they want to start shit, we're ready, willing, and able to finish it. Put up with too much shit in our lives to have to deal with some asshole giving us a hard time. I don't know how other people put up with it.
We get like 15, 20 letters a day, and out of all the people that read the mag, I would say there's maybe a handful of people who really do come across as true psychos and are really sincere and good people. And it always turns out that the people who are the ones that society thinks are the weirdest, the sickest, turn out to be the nicest people. And the ones that walk around like they're so moral and righteous are the ones that are really the ones you have to, behind your back, they'll just stab you. They're the ones that are the true enemy.
Do you have a example with that?
Somebody who's a psycho?
Well,
just one thing I wanted to add to the last thing is that we're kind of unusual in that to us, the reader kind of is the enemy. I think most fanzines or whatever, it's like me and the reader are we're conspiring against the world, but we're kind of targeting it against the reader. And they still don't believe it that we actually hate them, that we do. They think somehow they're exempt because they identify with it or something. But it's unfortunate, kind of.
What do you think about Howard Stern?
Felt a lot more of him like 5 years ago. I think his success has completely ruined him.
He's really mellowed out. He's a family man.
He's always whining about he should get off the radio, let's go. He complains a bit too much for somebody who's a multimillionaire. I used to listen to him in New York on the subway in like '87 on a Walkman and embarrass myself laughing out loud, but he hasn't given me cause to do that lately. I wish there was some real hungry young guy out there who would make him a little nervous to get him off his ass and do something worthwhile, but radio jocks are so fucking lame that I don't think it's going to happen.
Every day he just can't wait to get off the air and hurry home to his wife and 3 kids.
Yeah, he pisses off the right people for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to him.
I'll be listening to him at work and everybody gets offended. They're like, oh, Howard Stern, They just assume, oh, he represents the enemy or something, but he makes me laugh, and that's just the purpose, just to feel something.
The liberal left has completely replaced the right as far as being censors and humorless and wanting the rest of the world to completely follow in lockstep to their ideas. And Howard pisses those type of people off, so he's all right.
What about the right? What do you think about the so-called conservative right?
It's probably as varied as the left. There's a lot of just dumb idiots who believe in Jesus and that sex is bad, and I don't know, they pay their taxes or whatever, but there's people further right that I'd probably agree with politically more than anybody else. That I don't know, I don't feel like I should be paying $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year in taxes and getting fucking nothing back for it. So I'd align myself with the far right as far as that goes. The far right usually are more like libertarian types who don't not out to censor shit, who believe in a marketplace of ideas and commodities. And I found them more decent than the token lefties who want to shove their politics down my throat. They're every bit as bad as Nazis.
Regarding the printing of your magazine, is there any problem getting it printed in the local area? Do you have to go outside of the state to have it printed?
No, we found a place, some Chinese people who do it in San Gabriel. They're super cheap and they don't care about Hitler or it doesn't have the same importance. Yeah, we got rejected 8 times over the last 2 issues.
They just saw the pictures and flipped out. They didn't even look under. They just see a picture and just assume, or they hear the word Nambler and just assume,
We sent something to some Texas prisoner, sent money for a copy. We got a letter back saying that we advocated sex with minors and that we were scheming to commit murder or something. But people are going to respond that way. They don't really read it. I mean, if you read the NAMBLA article, we're making fun of the guy, but a lot of people can't see nuance or
they just see what's on the cover.
Meaning, yeah.
They don't look underneath it,
When you did the magazine, when you did that Jack Kevorkian interview, what kind of response did you get from that?
In regards to
people,
readers,
well, I'm happy to say the Black Flame said that it was chilling, and I consider that a pretty good review. I was just myself, I could be that person who probably would be calling Jack and asking for assistance. Anyone could come down with cancer and want a way out. And it's just very cathartic for me to call these people and do something like that.
But like we said, the people who, in the magazine, we said that the people who should be thinking about committing suicide
never ever
do. They're so self-assured that their lives have worth, and they're so obviously worthless, but they just don't have a clue that they should eliminate themselves.
Is there somebody that you haven't interviewed yet that you'd like to?
Definitely Louis Farrakhan, Jesse Helms, Johnny Reb, the racist country and western singer, Andrea Dworkin, the 800-pound feminist, who basically says that penile penetration is a crime against women. What's the guy, his last name's Jeffries, Leonard Jeffries, who's a black professor at City College of New York who believes that the whites are ice people who are inherently evil and that the Jews finance the slave trade and everything else. Like I said in the car, anybody has just insanely unpopular viewpoints and has not an iota of fear about expressing them is our target interview. I'm down with anybody who's willing to take an unpopular stand, is willing to sacrifice their social life in the name of their beliefs.
As far as the music goes, where do you see yourself as far as fitting in with the crowd?
We never see ourselves fitting in with a crowd, and I generally think that music makes people stupid after a while. I sound like a parent from the 50s, but I think it can probably be demonstrated over the years that it's music and TV combined have made people really illiterate and inarticulate, so we're not too keen on music.
Years ago, in the 70s and early 80s, I guess we were both into punk, but now there's just no new music coming out, and it's very boring, and I even wrote the rant, Music Blows, and I described how I feel about going to a club, being at a show. The whole excitement is gone. I have more fun doing laundry than being at a club at this point.
Yeah, smelling like 100 people, the clove cigarettes, people sweating in your face, farting in your face, spilling drinks on you. 20 bands, each one identical to the last one. That's a fucking nightmare for us. We'd rather clean our toenails on a Saturday night than have to submit to torture like that.
It is torture. There's just no fun to it and no point.
We'd be bona fide masochists if we went to too many clubs, I think. Just couldn't handle it.
We stay in a lot.
Do you think your way of thinking is going to catch on, or is it ahead of its time, or is it?
We never
want to change
put out our beliefs for the sake of changing someone into thinking like we do. It's more catharsis for us, and we feel it's something that needs to be said. But as far as desiring to start some kind of movement or anything, that's the last thing we'd want. Yeah. The only reason I want to get into any kind of power is to abuse it. So.
People have called us and say and asked, how long have you been a Satanist? And we would never put a label on what we are. We're just pretty antisocial people, misanthropic.
And so, the Russ Meyer told me the same thing about his movies. He says the reason people think they're so special is he was just a guy interested in really big tits. He does these movies with chicks with the biggest tits on earth, and because he's doing what he likes, people like it or whatever. There's an honesty to it that, we're not trying to be cool. We're trying to be up with the latest trend or anything. And we're not, the boring trend of anti-trendism either. We're just doing what interested, whether it's popular or not. We're not afraid to admit we would like a popular group or something, in other words.
Before we was doing the magazine, we used to do stuff like go ambulance chasing and go to Pentecostal churches and cemeteries and junkyards and do weird things. And we're just writing about our lives, basically.
The woman who introduced us said we should just write about our lives instead of writing about all these stupid bands and shit, and she was right.
And that works out the best.
Where do you see the magazine going?
No, boy, you know, sooner or later into federal court, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I can't really predict the future.
We showed you that kid in Florida is
I mean, the way
on obscenity charges right now. Yeah, I mean, you know, people think, oh, you know, the right wing, oh, they're repressing everything. The left comes in, Clinton comes in, and he's seeking to, I mean, shut up all the gun people, all the, you know, the racists. And I got no quarrel with any racist who's just honest in their beliefs, who's not doing it because they think, you know, oh, their friends are doing it, or, you know, I could probably get along better with a black racist who hates my white devil dog fucking guts than most people in your average LA coffee house, that's for sure. But in the future, I just, you know, I would hope we just don't repeat ourselves, and that we been raised Catholic for, you know, 12 years and living under the specter of eternal hellfire has naturally lent me an interest in shit that's forbidden and that's unspeakable, that's improper to even bring up. So I would hope that we could keep unearthing shit that people think we shouldn't be talking about, and then I'd be satisfied.
What do you hate the most? There's one thing that you could get rid of, and one thing only that you could get rid of right now, what would it be?
At this point, I'm just sick of going to work every day and getting up at 7 a.m. and doing, you know, data entry for a place that I have no feelings for, and just to pay the rent, what I have to do, and I'd rather just be writing and sitting at home and doing our stuff and not having to report to somebody, and living in a place where maybe there's nice clean air, not too many people, having a lot of pets, and just peace of mind is the most important thing, and a good sense of humor, and, you know, would make me happy.
And
just feeling free.
In my case, more than just like a broad answer like the human race, it's definitely across the board insincerity. Like I said, I have no quarrel with anybody's beliefs, but if they're a hypocrite, or they're a backstabber, or they're just phony, they're trying to be something that they're not, that's what I can't stand. And that's what 99% of our hatred is based on, is that throughout our lives, friends, acquaintances, family members,
they've always let us down.
Or they'll sell you out for, you know, a few pieces of copper or whatever. Just, I found, you know, in all sectors of society, people are rampantly insincere. And it's definitely what I hate the most about them.
Yeah.
Liars
I agree
and
with that.
hypocrites.
Are there any magazines that you feel are just as good as your magazine, if not better?
Definitely like
Fuck from Philadelphia.
What is that magazine?
Fuck.
Fuck.
Put out by a guy who used to work in a morgue, and he prints pictures of, like, dead victims. He's very for abortion and anti-baby.
He sells deceased fetus trading cards.
He has a great sense of humor, and he's, you know, from corresponding with him, we never actually met him, but he just seems like a really hell of a nice guy. And he has a lot of enemies out there.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like the ones that are always hated are the ones that are always the nicest people.
There's one that was done in the mid-'80s called Pure that, I mean, I think definitely beats us in terms of unrelenting intensity. The guy just is a great writer and writes incredibly detailed, graphic, believable, palpable things about brutality and rape. I think on that end he definitely has us beat. The difference between us and somebody like that is in some of the shit we have a sense of humor. Which I guess, you know, I'm still struggling whether it's good to be brutal and humorous at the same time. I don't know if I can reconcile that, but Pure and Fuck are two of the ones that I would definitely single out for honor.
That's it, yeah.
Anything else?
Can't think of any other mags. I mean, I like reading the tabloids. I think they're a lot of fun.
The Mexican murder mags, the Mexican deformity comics are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably doing stuff in Japan and Europe that I don't know about that I'd love, but it's just a matter of access to it.
I noticed in your publication you have no advertising.
Yeah.
Is that by choice or is that?
Definitely.
It's by choice, but it's probably, you know, by necessity too, because I don't know how many people are going to want their boutiques ad up near a picture of the severed genitals, head, and hands of Jeffrey Dahmer. So I don't think we could sell many ads if we wanted to. But
if you found someone who would be willing to, would you?
no, we've had people offer to put ads in, but
What type of companies?
it's like records. It was so long ago. It was I think like a record company wanted to place like a full-page ad, but to me it's the same as in a movie. If all of a sudden the movie stopped and you see a Pepsi ad, you'd be like, what the fuck? It like compromises it. And I don't know why people don't have the same attitude towards a magazine. To me, the ads would just get in the way of the scheme of things.
When
It
too many,
clutters it up.
when too many people get involved in something, it always seems to ruin it too.
Yeah, we like to keep the staff down to.
Right.
And
Do you ever
maybe
take any outside submissions for your mag?
we had
Just the
out of
artists.
I think in 3 issues we have a total of 308 pages, and 8 of those pages were written by other people, and the rest was us. That's why it takes so long to do it, because there's just so much fucking work. But that, I mean, like Debbie said, I mean, too many cooks really fuck it up, and dealing with other people's egos, and they'll get hurt if you don't use a certain part, just like I used to. I mean, I can understand what it's like to be an editor, I guess, but it's not worth. And we've had people call up offering to help us paste up and distribute and shit, but it just complicates things.
If you could just do the magazine and not do anything else, how often do you think you'd be able to publish?
3 months, maybe.
Yeah. Working a 9-hour day really gets in the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 132-page magazine with no ads. It's like at least 3 or 4 issues of anything else. I mean, that would be like a 200-page magazine with ads.
Plus, you come home from work, you're very tired, and this way we could, if we didn't have to go to work, we could just stay up all night and write, and then sleep all day, which we'd really prefer anyway.
Yeah, just stay up all night and do it.
Yeah, we get it out faster.
We do other projects too, like books and movies, where we have a script called The Abortionist, where I play a guy who goes in and gives abortions to women who didn't request them. Unsolicited abortions, and one called Baby Killers, which is along the same lines.
I mean, it's better than the movies that have been coming out lately. Nothing's original.
It's all
always
popped out of the fucking computer.
And now there's Addams Family and Dennis the Menace and
now they're going.
all that crap.
They ran out of movies to redo, so they're redoing all the fucking TV
recycling all
shows.
the old stuff from 20 years or 30 years ago.
Hang on a second. Do you have a Ben is Dead magazine upstairs?
I'd have to go through a ton.
Exactly. Where the conclusion of the interview, you show the magazine and you toss it in.
I guess I already mentioned it, but I hate to publicize people I hate, so to even bring attention to them, to one person.
Yeah. What would happen to Married with Children?
Right.
What happened?
No, the woman started protesting them, and they got better ratings than ever.
Became the #1 show for a while.
No, I mean, I confronted that girl over the phone. She just gave me a load of shit, like she really liked the mag, but a couple of her staffers did. And I'm like, all right, well, I want to talk to the guy because I don't think it's fair to call somebody who busts his nuts 7 days a week working upper middle class. And she's like, okay, I'll have him call you. You know, fucking call him. They're afraid of the truth. I mean, if there's one thing I can say positive about myself is if I find I'm doing something wrong, I change it. And you know, any faults I have, I'm blind to. That's why they're still faults and not corrected.
All right, but within the floors, don't you find the truth within the floors?
Find truth about?
About just yourself, the magazine, what it's all about.
Like I said, in flaws, I mean, like if I hurt somebody I love, or just do shit that's just, you know, destructive towards my own life, I'll correct them. Or being a dick to somebody who wasn't a dick to me, that I kind of look way down on. And if I find myself doing that, I'll usually apologize to the person.
When people meet you, are they taken back by your mannerisms? I mean, you seem pretty low-key people. And
they expect us to have like to be foaming at the mouth and to be, you know, be screaming. A lot of people, you know, have told other people, and it's gotten back to us, that, you know, they thought we'd bite their heads off if they complimented us, or they expect these lunatics, and you know, there's a lot of rage in that magazine, but you know, for the most part, thank God, we've learned to keep it largely within the magazine.
If you didn't have the magazine, do you think you'd bend it out and
Sure. I mean, if I was still back in Philly working a shit job, I'd definitely be a serial killer, or you know, I'd be in jail for assault or something, without a doubt. Yeah, it would be too much frustration to see all these rich and famous assholes who I think
no talent.
I feel better than. Yeah, definitely. That would be too much frustration to bear.
They're rich and famous, and they're so untalented, and that's what hurts. When you know you have the ability, and you're just not getting anywhere.
Not to even say we have a lot of talent, but we think we're better than a lot of people who make it, and then usually they make it through connections and not talent.
Yeah,
so.
It's all connections. We don't have any connections. I can honestly say I don't think I have any friends. You know, so.
Who's your best friend?
Oh, of course, Jim, my husband, and my cats.
Yeah.
That's it. Because people have always let me down. You know, with their insincerity, and I just try to stay away from them. I stay to myself.
If there was one person you guys could kill, you know, each, who would that person be? You could kill them with impunity.
My mother.
And my father. Our only surviving family.
Yeah.
Parents.
Didn't she do too much damage, I think, to get away with?
My father, because of his negativity, his attitude, you know, and even though I'm thousands of miles away from it, a part of it is still in me that I can't get away from, and that's what I would like to kill.
Yeah, just drilling in my skull for however many years how worthless I am.
Yeah, we were worthless. That's what we heard while we were growing up our whole lives. That my father used to say, you know, you should have died instead of your mother. You're worthless, you know. I wish you were dead. Day in and day out. So I wasn't physically abused, but it was just the negativity and the criticism, and it stayed with me. Yeah. And that's why, like, I pretty much have a very negative attitude. I'm not a happy person.
And the worst thing my mother ever did was oversaw me getting my face bloodied frequently by my father, and then denied it ever happened when I grew up. So I think she has it coming. Plus, she married my uncle and killed him in some way 2 days later.
He had a heart attack and died.
Do you think your aversion to children is because of the childhood that you had?
Sure. We had completely different experiences. We'd be completely different people. That's why, you know, I don't get down on people because they're not as angry as I am, or they don't think like I am, because they've had a different fucking life. But unfortunately, a lot of people are willing to judge me without ever having gone through the shit I've gone through. Which, and most of them are people who think they have open minds, too.
So then if you were to have children, then you think you'd vent out your anger on them?
Well, we won't ever have children.
Yeah, that's not a possibility.
I understand that.
There's no possibility for that.
I've said this before, I'd be like a male guppy. I'd like eat its head off or something. Yeah.
Like our peace and quiet, too. And
we hate our progenitors enough that we'd hate the end of the line there, too. And
I have trouble enough taking care of myself.
Yeah. I don't know how people do it.
That's another reason.
People do it because they think it's the right thing to do, and I think eventually almost everyone regrets it.
Yeah, we got married to be together. And a lot of people say, well, how could you be married and not have kids? But there's more to it than that.
If this building was in an earthquake right now and we were stuck in here, and we had, you know, the only source of food was dead bodies, which one of us would you eat first?
I just got to say that in a way, I'd welcome an earthquake because I think they're a lot of fun. Anything that jolts up humanity, I just get a kick out of it. I probably would go hungry. I don't think I could eat anybody.
I think I'd rather die than get so intimate with another human being besides Debbie that I have to eat their flesh.
I'd probably just start screaming, get us out of here, you know?
I'd probably start nibbling on my own fingers.
Yeah, we'd probably eat ourselves faster than we'd eat anybody else. I could see throwing up very easily.
I mean, we can't stand bumping into people, so eating them would kind of be right out of the question.
I think that's it. What do you think?
Is there anything you guys would like to say?
Anything to add to what we want to say to anybody?
You know, I wish people would live their own lives, and for the most part, if something pisses them off about what we're doing or what anybody else is doing, don't buy the fucking magazine. you know, take responsibility for your own existence. We don't force ourselves on anybody. So if anybody would want to complain.
Yeah, I mean, I think people should, if it really annoys them, they should call us up and confront us with it, because like about 6 weeks ago, a woman did call me up, and I guess in her way, she was trying to confront me with it, but she wound up hanging up on me, and I was trying to debate her about the issues, and she said something like, nothing dies, it only changes. So I said, well, what does that have to do with our magazine? And she just said, well, it has everything to do with your magazine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Could you be specific? Could you point out an article? And she couldn't back up a word of what she was saying, and she wound up hanging up on me. So don't hang up, just confront me, you know, and we'll try to debate the issues, you know.
If anyone can prove that I'm doing something wrong, I'd be the first to admit it. I'm open-minded enough that, you know, I've changed my thinking a million times since I was a kid, so, you know, I don't think I'm going to possibly think this way for the rest of my life. If a better way of thinking comes along, I'll definitely adopt it. People should live their own lives without getting pissed off about what other people are doing. Usually the people that do get upset about shit and go on crusades are people with such pitifully empty lives. That's all they have to do. And they exist as parasites on the thing they're attacking.
They never see their
Without
own
what they
faults.
hate, they have no life of their own.
They're total hypocrites. They never see maybe something inside of themselves that could be the true problem, that they have to direct it onto somebody else, an enemy, because people love to have a scapegoat.
For their problems.
Yeah, and that's what brings people together, a common enemy. That's the only thing that'll bring, I think, society together.
The guy in Florida was probably going to go to jail for doing his little magazine, which had a circulation of 300. He had cartoons, you know, priest fuck little boys with the priest's dick all the way through the mouth and coming into the chalice and shit. And they'll attack that guy and they'll put him in jail, but they won't put the priest who's fucking little boys in jail. Because it's easier to find, he's an easier target.
All he does is print it.
Yeah. All he does is report it.
Yeah.
They stab the messenger instead of handling the bad news.
All right. We appreciate you taking the time. Thanks a lot.
Let's get the fuck out of this room. Too hot.
My hand is being barbecued by everybody.
A magazine published by a Portland man is causing a firestorm of protest across the Northwest tonight. Does that publication, which is about rape, cross the line? Does it incite that crime? Mark Sanchez is in the newsroom with more on this. And Mark, I would think that most people would be appalled by a magazine about rape, but you're saying that this could be a really tough call, proving it does cross the line.
Well, that may exactly be it, Shirley. You see, the legal issues are not clear-cut, and that really doesn't begin to describe all the problems that are posed by this particular magazine. It's Volume 4 of Answer Me. It's already the subject of criminal prosecution in Bellingham, Washington. It's not the kind of publication you'll find at the corner. Customers at this newsstand in Bellingham complained to authorities, who promptly filed charges against the merchants for promoting pornography. The defense attorney sees it otherwise.
This is not pornography. It's a political magazine that takes an offbeat approach to a very difficult issue.
While a jury decides that, I brought a copy of Answer Me to Judith Armada. She heads Oregon's Coalition Against Sexual and Domestic Violence. Let her describe the magazine.
This is incredibly sickening. Let's hear it for violence toward women. A picture of a woman with half of her face beaten and bloodied. It makes me literally sick to my stomach. Here's one called The Nice Stalker. What a hunk. Did he consult with any rape victims or rape victim advocates before he put this out and ask them how they would feel about it? I'll bet he didn't. You know, and where are the profits going to go? Is he contributing any of those to people who have been victimized by this kind of stuff? Little kids, women.
Good questions. I wanted to put them to the author of Answer Me, Jim Goad, but he left his apartment after declining an interview. Portland attorney Charles Hinkle isn't sure what to make of Answer Me either. He called it offensive, probably pornographic, but protected by the First Amendment. He's not sure.
The Supreme Court has held that to incite a crime is not protected by the First Amendment, but it has to be a direct, an immediate cause and effect kind of situation.
Now, without that relationship, Charles Hinkle doubts that the prosecutor can really do very much. Now, Jim and Debbie Goad produced this magazine themselves, perhaps 13,000 copies. Finding one, I'll tell you now, is almost impossible. and frankly, if it's making a political statement, it is lost, completely lost on many people who consider this not much more than fish wrap or worse.
I still don't understand the message. Is it promoting rape, or what's the political message?
Surely that appears to be what the prosecutor up in Bellingham is saying, that in fact, in so many words, it's doing precisely that. You heard from Judith Armada, her message is that it's absolutely nothing other than that, but that it is promoting rape. You heard from the defense attorney up there that no, it is a political statement, a different take on a very difficult question, and frankly, that'll be a very tough question for a jury to answer.
And because they won't talk, the authors won't talk, we really don't know what the real message is.
Well, I'm waiting to hear from them if they want to talk.
Okay. Thank you. Mark Sanchez reporting. Mike?
A natural gas leak in northeast Portland today. The White House shooting is being portrayed as someone who hated the government. Francisco Duran is on trial in Washington, D.C., charged with attempted assassination. He's accused of firing all those shots at the White House last fall. A co-worker today told the jury Duran hated taxes in the government and talked about killing the president. He said he didn't tell anyone because he didn't take those threats seriously. Well, that shooting now has a Portland connection. Investigators say Duran was carrying a Portland-based magazine in his truck just before the shooting. The magazine contains pictures of graphic violence. And while the magazine's supporters claim it is an in-your-face attack on crime, as Bob High reports, the magazine itself is now under fire for promoting violence.
The attack on the White House was certainly violent. Now, prosecutors contend a Portland-based magazine helped prompt Martin Duran to commit the shooting. The adults-only magazine is called Answer Me, published by Jim and Debbie Goad of North Portland. Its latest issue focuses graphically on rape and killing. Authorities in Bellingham, Washington objected enough to take a bookstore there to court. The owners are charged with distributing pornography.
It may be graphic and brutal, but it's because it intends to expose the issue.
It's so inconsistent and contradictory to our being as a sexual assault program in particular, but also domestic violence. This is violent stuff.
Investigators found a copy of the magazine's second issue in Martin Duran's truck after the White House shooting. In it, one article reads, "Can you imagine a higher moral calling than destroying someone's dreams with one bullet?" No one answered the door at Goads' North Portland apartment, but their next-door neighbor, though, is shocked.
It's hard to believe that people can actually glorify that, rape and mother killing and all that. That's gross.
Jim Goad has said he and his wife moved to Portland last fall from Hollywood, California, and he's recently made publishing Answer Me a full-time job. He's also said this issue, his fourth, has already sold more than 13,000 copies.
I would not say it can make someone do it, but it can contribute and it can lower someone's inhibitions.
Psychologist Tony Fahrenkopf doesn't buy arguments that this magazine somehow fights violence.
This material will be misused by people who have an attraction. So that's not combating it, that's fueling it.
Prosecutors believe it helped fuel this violence as well. In North Portland, Bob High, Channel 2 News.
Washington state pornography laws are stricter than in Oregon because Washington state constitution only guarantees freedom of speech. Oregon's guarantees freedom of expression, which includes everything from pornography publications to nude dancing.
Meantime, Oregon's latest crime statistics show some mixed results in the fight.
Oregon's tied to a shooting at the White House.
Lots of showers around now, but improvement. A vile Oregon magazine apparently played a role in an attempt on President Clinton's life. Perhaps you remember when Francisco Martin Duran opened fire on the White House last fall. Well, in Duran's trial yesterday, his defense attorney said Duran is insane. As evidence, he quoted an Oregon magazine found in Duran's truck after the shooting. The magazine is Answer Me, a hate-filled publication that advocates violence and murder. The passage read by Duran's attorney asks, can you imagine a higher moral calling than destroying someone's dreams with one bullet? The back of the magazine says it is hate literature and says, quote, if you aren't filled with hatred, this book isn't for you. The Portland publishers of the book did not return our phone calls today.
Our power rates may not be going up as high as we thought. The Bonneville Power Administration...
The magazine
starts off with a disclaimer. We heard a lot of things, a lot of questions about satire, whether this was satire, whether something was so exaggerated that it shows that it just wasn't the case. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this disclaimer. I would argue to you that the evidence in this case shows that the only thing that's satire is the disclaimer in this magazine. This states, this issue's disclaimer to honestly deal with the topic of rape. Particularly when it comes to the rapist psychic landscape, we felt it necessary to use graphic language and imagery. Performing some of the acts described herein can land your tushy behind bars. So we don't advocate trying any of them. Parentheses, is that okay, Your Honor? In parentheses. Dedicated to your mother, your wife, your sister, and your daughter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's admit that that dedication is something to think about, and it's something to think about in context of what we have with the author's definition of himself. In the magazine, and on page 70, we have the author, Mr. Goads, describing himself. He describes himself, all men are rapists. He's actually talking about the French feminist, and he states, only your dreams fit. Jim Goads, misogynist. That term, I asked that term of a number of people that testified. Ms. Nillis, I asked a number of other people, what is it? What's misogynist mean? Misogynist means a person that hates women. And the theme that runs through this magazine is that. A person that hates women, not a person that hates children. I'd ask you to think about that as you're looking at this magazine. And think about that when you look at this disclaimer. That disclaimer, if there's any satire, that is the only thing that is satire in this magazine. Now, one of the articles deals, let's hear it, for violence towards women. And this ties in again with the theme that runs through here and with the author's characterization of himself. He describes what women are good for. He describes and really is advocating violence towards women. I'll ask you to look at that article, and that goes right along with what he has indicated his predilection is and how he labels himself in this magazine. One of the prongs that we have to show also, in order to show that this is lewd matter, which is one of the elements in the charges to convict these defendants of the crime, is that under number 2, the average person applying contemporary community standards would find patently offensive representation. We talk about a number of things here. We also talk about exhibition of genitals or genital area. We talk about mutilation. I'd ask you to look at many things in this magazine. This comes from an article entitled I'm on the Rag that deals with menstruation. It shows genitals. It shows mutilation of genitals. I would submit certainly shows patently offensive material, and specifically genital areas. And it has to be viewed. You'll have to go through the article and take a look at this. But it certainly shows patently offensive material. There's another one, it's another article dealing in the book. This is on page 75. It shows that what appears to be a dead woman, a spread eagle, with a photograph indicating her genital area. These are just examples. The examples are right in the magazine. I indicated you'll have certain opportunities to review that. The defense called Mr. Donaldson to testify in this case. He told you a tragic story that he had of a jail rape. And he certainly appeared to be very sincere about what a horrible thing that was to him. And it certainly had an effect on him. He described that, and he indicated that in his testimony that he had been contacted by Mr. Goads because of Mr. Donaldson's involvement dealing with prison rape. And Mr. Goads had talked to him and had written the article. Mr. Donaldson didn't write the article, Donnie the Punk. That was written by Mr. Goads. He described to you his involvement with Mr. Goads as far as he wrote the article, Mr. Goads sent it back. He indicated to you that the article was well done. He indicated that he certainly had a real concern about prison rape. But I asked you to take a look at that article and see if it really conveys what he was asking and what he was indicating that he wished to have conveyed. You recall Mr. Comte talking about that. He indicated that in his reading of this article, it was not specifically directed to the problem of prison rape, but he indicated it almost seemed to be saying, well, that was okay, it had gone on with his life. And he described some of the experiences. And you'll have a chance to read this and take a look at this, and I'd ask you if it appears to really present what Mr. Donaldson indicated he wished to have presented in the experience, in the horrible experience that he had gone through. And I submit this article shows you that that was not presented in this magazine. One of the things in the magazine that was described, and we heard people talk about this, and they said, this magazine has value. In fact, a number of the professors, or excuse me, I think one of the professors in specific, Mr. Harris, indicated that this had value because it shows you how these people think. It shows you the minds of rapists. It shows you what they're thinking. And he indicated because of that, that had value. That was part of his testimony. We've heard that from a number of other people. Now, one of the articles on page 32, I Want to Be a Rapist, that's in this magazine, it's on page 32, describes an interview by the author with an individual claiming to be a rapist. And he describes how he will rape people and what he's going to do when he gets out. And this is a person that the author indicates was in prison, and he had contacted Mr. Goads and wanted to tell him his story. But Mr. Goads, in fact, had apparently paid him for the article. He found out later this man, and he thought originally this man was on death row for rape and a murder. He found out later on this man was in prison for a robbery. He wasn't even a rapist, and yet that article was here. And we have people saying, well, this has scientific value because it shows the mind of the rapist. I'd ask you to take a good look at that. And ask yourself if this really is an honest effort to deal with this matter. If it's an honest effort to deal with the horrendous effects of rape, and if it's a scientific effort, if that is a scientific effort, I'd ask you to look at that to see if that has value. Polly Kiley testified. She indicated that she had undergone a sexual assault. She indicated that she had contacted Mr. Goads. She does a bunch of writing or cartoon work also, and is a graphic artist. She showed some of her material. She indicated also that she did write another sort of a sexual, apparently comic book type book. It's called Saucy Little Tart. And she indicated that when she was describing and using the depictions to describe her incident, that she put in the last frame this character from her comic strip, or whatever her cartoon book, the Saucy Little Tart. And she was indicating what her article was really saying, and after we take a look at that on the last page of that, which is page 37. She's describing what this incident was like to her. And she was describing in one of the top frames that this incident actually ended up, the anal rape, turning her on. And she describes down here, but just the thought of it really turned me on and on. So I was getting off on the whole thing. And then here, and this is the frame where she's put in this other character that she writes about. I guess time heals all wounds, even a wrecked rectum, and smile on her face. Do you believe that that's portending all of the horribleness of rape, as we've heard from people in this case? There are other articles. You'll see an article we talked about Andrew Dworkin, You'll see that. You get a chance to look at that and see if you believe that has value. See if you believe that has political value under the prong that we're talking about. Next part of the book, and the book as we described, is broken down into a number of areas. And the next part starts dealing with children. I'd ask you to look carefully at that. What kind of message are we seeing with the articles with the children? In fact, the longest article in this book, the longest single article, is quality time. And that, as I mentioned to you in opening statement, and we've heard comments about that, talks about the kidnapping. We don't know how the child was kidnapped because it's looking at the kidnapper who's talking about it. It doesn't tell how it's done. So this couldn't actually arm people and say, gosh, you know, I shouldn't have my child go out to the store unattended, or I shouldn't be in the shopping mall by myself. Or if I'm there, I shouldn't turn around and let my child get away from it. There's nothing there that tells people how to avoid this kind of a situation in this article. But what it is, it's the individual who is raping, torturing, and killing this child describing just how he's doing it. He describes it very, very graphically. Describes the fact that the little girl is not going to be seeing her mother, that her mother is going to be out looking for her, that she's worried. And it describes, the article goes on, again, this is the single longest article in this magazine. Describes that there wouldn't be any more hugs from Mommy, and then it describes that he's going to really make her cry, and describes that he's going to hurt her so much. Describes in the top portion also that he's going to see her dead and he's going to masturbate. It describes about some of the sexual things that he's going to do. And he indicates that this is a 10-year-old girl. It's a 10-year-old person, a 10-year-old being. And she's going to die a horrible death. And he describes then what he's doing sexually to her. He's talking about oral sex here. For her to get down on her knees. And also that he's going to, in the end here, you're going to pray to die. Describes the torture that he's doing to this little child. Describes, again, sexually what he's doing to her. This article has pictures in it of children that are either maimed or beaten or perhaps deceased that are sprinkled throughout this, as well as the picture of the little girl who has the injuries on her that we have seen. Again, this is asking about seeing the mother again, and indicating you're going to die. This part talks in this area about putting razor blades in this little girl's mouth. You cut her mouth up. You can see in the picture we're starting to get blood, and that shows up in the other pictures. Also, in this area, he's actually squeezing those cuts to hurt her. He's talking again about oral sex here, and again, one of the prongs is patently offensive representation of sexual acts. Fellatio would be one of those, and that certainly, ladies and gentlemen, I would submit. It's very, very clear that there's no question about it. In fact, it was interesting when the defense presented their experts, that was not one thing that she commented about. She was not asked to comment about the patently offensive prong of this case. That's all you have to do is ask yourself why it was. It's very, very clear that prong is certain. He goes on in the article indicating that she's going to be dead. Another picture of the deceased child. We'll talk about pictures of deceased people also. And there are a number of exhibits, and I'll mention those later, that were offered. Exhibits such as homicide investigation that are actually textbooks, that were offered as comparables to show that this is similar to this magazine. I'd ask you to take a look at that. There's nothing that's comparable in those books that were offered. I think they're exhibits 19 and 20. Practical homicide investigation. Interpretation of blood-stained evidence. These are textbooks. They're offered to you as comparable to show that there are pictures. There are pictures of people that are deceased in here. There's no question those pictures are there. But ladies and gentlemen, the test, when you're looking at this, is the magazine as a whole, and under the third prong, it's in the context in which it is used. These have absolutely nothing to do with answer me. Nothing. No similarity. This article goes on and describes the terrible death that this little girl is going to have. And in the end, the parents are going to miss her. And it's all worked out really well, don't you think? That's the end of the story. People came in here and told you that that story has great scientific value, where that story really shows the mind of these people, so that it will really be something of serious value. That's what we heard from the professor, from Professor Harris. That's what he's telling us. We heard from a number of other people. Ladies and gentlemen, that determination is for you to make, and I ask you to look at that. We know what Mr. Conte said about the people that he's dealing with. We know that with their background, what they are going to be looking at as far as occurring to field of sense. Now, that's not the only thing. If that was the only thing, Mr. Conte indicated, well, sometimes these people will get off on other things, like heels or leather clothing. And so that is not the only test. The test here is a three-pronged test. Not only what these people would look at as far as occurring to interest of sex, it's all of these things. When we're looking at lewd material that is unlawful in the state of Washington, it's not just what appeals to current interest. It's what appeals to current interest under the first prong, under that test, also under the second prong, and finally under the third prong. So there are three prongs that have to be met. Mr. Conte is telling you that there's no question the people that he's dealing with, these sexual offenders, would certainly find this appeals to current interest. So we know, and he's indicated to you, the scope of people that would find this appealing. He indicated there was testimony about that, and you've heard the instructions. We'll be talking about that in a moment also. We don't have to show that this appeals to the average person's interest in sex. In fact, when you look at this test, the average person, under these two prongs that we're dealing with, the average person is the judge. It's which the average person applying these tests would find, when considered as a whole, appeals to the current interest. The average person is the judge. The average person is not the object. The object of this test could be a deviant subgroup. So in other words, the average person is going to say, looking at contemporary community standards, applying those, the average person would find, when considered as a whole, that this appeals to current interest of a deviant subgroup. It doesn't have to be the current interest of an average person. Your testimony, the average person, when he reads this, is going to be appalled. When he sees those pictures, he's going to be appalled. Mr. Conte said that's not the case for the folks he deals with. This subgroup would find that very alluring to them. So the test is the average person is the judge and not the object. The average person does not have to be the object of the test. The average person could be. But I ask you to look at that and look at the instructions. So the average person is the judge. The object would be either the average person or it would be the deviant subgroup. We have a number of other articles that deal with children. Page 82, abuse of power, incest, is one such article. This talks about incest. It goes on the second page. It describes, at the end of the article, how to look at incest. Incest is always an option. It talks about sexually abusing the child. It ends up letting you feel daddy in all its fullness. It hurts you more than it hurts her, but she has to learn. And people have come into this courtroom, and they've indicated that in regard to these articles, that these really have value. And I'd ask you to look at that. Pray. This is another article dealing with kids. And it starts off, and it has a quote from supposedly a Spanish cartoonist. When I learn that someone has raped a 14-year-old girl, I'm envious truly. I know that this may not sit well with some people, but I say what I think. To me, rape seems a good thing from age 14. And the article goes on promoting that and saying that's exactly what this article is saying. It indicates down on the right side, right here, talks about using or sexually abusing this girl. Teach her how to treat a man. And it talks about having her provide oral sex, fellatio. And it goes on in this article and it talks about, at this point, having an orgasm, having semen on this girl's face, rubbing it off, and using her face on the floor because she tried to rub it off. And then it talks about killing her. And it ends up, as far as the morals of this story, now be quiet and die like a good little woman. Nobody can take you away from me now. That's because there's no longer any you left. I've taken it all. First your virginity in your life, that pussy will get you in trouble every time. When people come in here, and we'll be talking about that too, about satire. Trying to tell you that that is satire. As far as satire, one of the things they said, satire is really exaggerated. I'd ask you if you believe that these things are really exaggerated, these things actually happen in our society. This article talks about boys. It talks about supposedly a quote from someone, a boy torturer, of how you torture boys. The article then goes on, and the way the story ends. It's interesting, I think, to look at the way the story ends, because in fact we had Nulis, the college teacher, who indicates, well, you know, in some of the tables there's a moral at the end. I submit to you there's no moral in these stories. The end is promoting the activity that we've read about. That's what this is. And it promotes it throughout this. It talks about the way the child, the boy, is crying, his shoulders even up and down when he's having sex with his kid. And ends up after describing that sexual activity, and again, we've got the patently offensive prong in all this material. The scars may heal, but you grow from a little mess into a big mess, and I'll enjoy watching it happen. So ladies and gentlemen, we have the college professors tell us here that that's the moral of that story. When we go on, we have articles of the retarded, articles of none. As I said in my opening, the author certainly has left nobody untouched. He's telling how to sexually abuse everybody.
with Bill Maher. Rapper Heavy D. Actor Michael Rappaport. Performance artist Karen Finley. And white trash author Jim Goad. And now, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Controversial editor of Answer Me and the author of the Redneck Manifesto, America's Scapegoats, How We Got That Way and Why We're Not Going to Take It Anymore, Jim Goad. Hey, Jim, how are you? Nice to see you. He's an actor whose films include Metro, Copland, and Mighty Effort.
Justice won't be achieved until Bill goes Monica. Then America will relax.
How do you know they did it? He went me. I've had an affair with Bill. Do you think the reason why?
Your ratings just... You said something interesting about how the president is liked because you said he smokes weed. Right.
I've been trying all week to picture Nixon getting a and I just can't come up with anything.
From what view?
That sweaty lip, you know.
Yeah. Now, you are a scary-looking redneck. Let me... In these polls that came out, it said that poor people, people of low income, were much more sympathetic to Clinton's problems and what he does because they said, you know, in their lives, you know, maybe you grew up in a small one-room shack where you heard your parents making love in the next bed. Or, you know, I can't move in with her because I love her, but I don't have a place yet. I mean, because people on that level are much more understanding of human needs.
Uh-huh. They identify with that one-eyed Arkansas trouser snake, I think.
Well, I think that everyone, I think the idea of just having sex.
Why so relatable is that? Even if you don't do it, you're thinking about it. Someone is thinking about it. That's the truth.
That's true.
You know, part of a struggle in a marriage is...
Okay, now, Bill Clinton, his nickname is Bubba, and he's from Arkansas, and people say his neck is red. You've got the Redneck Manifesto. How about this idea that rednecks, white trash, whatever you want to call it, are like the last ethnic group that you can take pot shots at? Everybody else is very sensitive, but...
No, the Democrat Carville's very racially sensitive, but he said about Paula Jones, drag $100 to a trailer park, and you never know what you'll find. He said the thing about...
Yes, he did.
If he said the same thing about the projects, he'd be out of office.
You're right.
Right.
You know, that's because some people are standing up. Like, you need some rednecks to stand up and say, hey, enough. That's it. We're not taking this no more.
Yeah, you talk about the projects, black this, black that, you can get your ass kicked. That's just the way the way it is. What's the word? What's the buzzword?
Which one?
We were talking about earlier. What's the buzzword? The key word.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, so you say you can't. You could, for some reason, you can make jokes of this and you get a sitcom, blah 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 blah. You can't do that stuff.
Like, what you need to do is get a gang together with some bats and chains, and then march through the White House and
burn down.
Hillbilly Crips.
I think that it just is sort of like getting everything even. Is that the idea that for just, you know, thousands of years that there's been jokes at ethnic groups' expense, that it just is good to have revenge and to get even of making fun of white people.
No,
and I'm for that.
These are poor
And I'm
people,
for
though.
that. I think it's
they're much poorer than the people making the jokes. According to PC rules, they're oppressed. You live in a trailer park, you're in a worse socioeconomic condition than people making redneck jokes.
Yeah, but they don't even have an excuse that it was because of racism.
Sure.
They're just living in a trailer.
No, it's classism.
Right.
It's classism.
That is true.
It's what?
Classism.
But this is America. It's a classless society. You can always move up.
Society.
It is by your choice. No, we have classes, but there's no barriers to them. It's not the caste
So you think
system.
everyone can rise from the trailer park?
Yes. According to your own ability. If you want to get out of a trailer park, you can.
People have risen from the projects.
Exactly.
Not all of them.
And I think that...
I would change your haircut, but, you know...
Stereotypically, too, I think that people look at many times is that white trash or what people have been the people that have had the prejudices against so many of the ethnic groups.
No, because the lower class, they've been pitted against blacks for jobs for hundreds of years.
That's true. You could say even with
blacks and rednecks have more in common with each other than anybody on this panel does with either group.
Well,
but they're all lower class.
It's all like sex. We've come back.
How you say blacks and rednecks?
Economically, they have more in common.
But all blacks aren't poor.
No, most blacks.
Most blacks are not poor. Most blacks are in the middle class.
And I don't know about most.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not denying that, but I don't know about most.
Maybe I got all the stats.
But if you say so, but what I'm saying is like if you say, like, I don't understand that comment. I really don't. Like, it's poor is poor.
Right.
That's it.
There's no color
But
after
there's
that.
this perception that if you're white and poor, you deserve it. Which
Well, I
is
think
wrong.
that also,
No, I didn't say you deserved it. I said you can't say, well, it's because of racism, because you are the majority race. I mean, when people who are white claim the same problems at the ethnic
These are people who, for thousands of years, were serfs. They came over as indentured servants, convict laborers.
Let's talk about now.
Oh, please, give me a break.
Well, I mean,
serfs. We're talking about Robin Hood's time.
No, in Russia,
This
there
is
were serfs up
America.
until
There's no
1900s.
relation.
I look at rednecks are being people that carry prejudice. That's my interpretation.
That's
so
all
many
they do. They get up in the morning and go around and do prejudice things.
and I
they have
think
no other
that
life
there is
besides
such a concern to trying to get rid of that prejudice that I think humor is a good way to deal with hate. And that's one reason why I think that humor is important. Of making
You may
fun
be a redneck if you have to take a commercial. All right, Jim, you mentioned dragging $100 through a trailer park. Monica was offered $2 million by Penthouse to pose.
For $2 million bucks, I'd president.
Oh, God.
I think she should go.
My wedding. Anybody hear me? No. Johnny, why don't you come on front?
John.
Wait, we gotta wait to see even more. This is so embarrassing. So first, I want to tell you my regular name and my other name. My first is John Joseph Sinner, but I'm better known as Rap Master John. And the song is Stand Up and Dance.
Sorry, don't worry about the jacket.
Hi, my name is Jared Chris, and this is the place of outside. Everybody say run! Everybody say hands up! Say hands up! Say run for your life! These are effective outside! Life! Life! Out the top, so these are effective outside! Life! Life! Kick that soul, break my bones, nobody hears me, all alone Nintendo. Power, the future is now. It's here to stay for today, for that kid that's got to play. Get in line, stereotypes. We are back to our life. Life. Life.
Change outside, run for your life. The party is safe for a rock, gun, knife, mercy, lamb, off the top, rope, siren, handcuffs, these are facts of our life. Nike Pimp, that's what to do. Where to go to bed? Where do I choose? Don't do this, don't do that. Leave no head for the baseball's back. Boom, boom, boom. Is everybody happy? Are we having fun yet? These are facts of our life. These are facts of our life. Call 911. Live. Clap. These are facts of our life. These are facts of our life.
Come on, Norman.
Yeah.
Norman. Throw away the trash.
Throw away
Say insects are gonna get you. Better watch out. Better watch out or the insects will get you. Better watch out or the insects will get you. If you accidentally fall in the water, you're in trouble. Spiders will come after you. Watch out
y'all. Peace. We love y'all. Peace. Thank you very much.
We had a lot of fun and we hope you come back again.
These are the kids from Whitney High.
Special kids.
Come again real soon. You party animals out there.
Let's have fun.
Goodbye. Go see your cars and go home.
You want me to try my autograph on you?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Michael.
I really appreciate
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Come down and see us sometime.
You guys are all, you always love me.